Hey guys, welcome back to the podcast. I am your host, Josh Jackson. Today, man, we got some stuff we gotta talk about. You know, this is a new month. It's, it's been a while. It's been a while since I've been able to say that. I know it's been, what, 2 or so weeks since the podcast episode? Sure. But look, I want to get my batteries recharged. I want to just get away from the podcast for a bit. Now we're back. So I'm happy you guys are returning, but we got so much we gotta cover. We got some interesting injuries to talk about. Not because they're injuries, just because two players actually suffered the same injury on the same hand. So we're gonna talk about that. That happened last night during Friday's games. Yes, my brain's already working in slow motion. Happy Saturday to you guys. Trying to already take that extended weekend break. I want to talk about Jamal Murray. I want to talk about Andrew Wiggins. I want to talk about Klay Thompson willing to take less money in years, a shorter deal, if it means he's able to reunite with the Warriors. I want to talk about that. I want to talk about Joel Embiid. I want to talk about some fun facts here in the next minute or two that concern Stephen Curry, Grady Dick, and Tyrese Halliburton. Plus, boys, it's a new month, so I want to start with something interesting. For our topic of the day, I'm going to discuss who's the next face of the NBA. That's a question I'm going to try to answer because right now, we really don't have a clear direction because our favorites, like LeBron, Curry, KD, Kawhi, like the guys we grew up on, they're going to retire soon. They're getting older. The younger fans, the fans that are with me from the mid 2000s all the way up to now, we grew up with those guys. We grew up with number 24 Kobe. We grew up with an aging Tim Duncan, right? We grew up with those interesting Spurs teams. That 2019 Toronto Raptors team. The Jimmy Butler years. Like I'm going through some things. I know I'm leaving out some key details, all of that stuff, but who's our next face of the NBA? And I'm just gonna be frank now. If you're looking at statistics, we have to take this in the mind of a casual NBA fan, a casual fan, not a hardcore fan. I'm gonna get to that in a bit, but first, as we always do on this podcast, let's talk about social media. Where can you find me? Where can you find CourtSideHeat? Well, good news, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen around the world. You can find me on X at CourtSideHeat. You can find me on Instagram at CourtSideHeat NBA. You can find me on Facebook, CourtSideHeat. You can find me anywhere. But, I do just want to let you guys know, I am very active, very much more active on X, on Twitter, formerly known as Twitter. So that's where it'll be at for X. There's really not too much explaining, just giving y'all a heads up. That being said, where can you find the podcast? You can find the podcast, well, if you already listened to it, you guys already know where it's at. But maybe you don't like this platform. Well, we got Apple Podcasts, we got Google Podcasts, we got SoundCloud, we got TuneIn, we got Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music. Pretty much anywhere and everywhere. X, again, X, I do upload the podcast. The only bad part about X, you cannot save your spots, so I'm sorry if you better have that timestamp in your brain because they do not keep the time for you. Which should be changed, but not what I'm going to be talking about all today. So, That's social media. That's the podcast. I really can't think of any other announcements. Or not announcements, but just chilling it out for myself, right? I don't think there's anything else. Of course, we got CourtSideHeat.com, but y'all already know that. Again, a lot of stuff that I'm talking about in the podcast, except the topic of the day, can be found on CourtSideHeat.com. And without further ado, let's get straight into it. And I want to start off with the fun facts. Because I honestly, I, I, I I was not expecting some of these. I want to start off with Stephen Curry. I didn't realize this, but apparently Stephen Curry finally played his first game in Toronto since Game 5 of the 2019 NBA Finals. To, to really put that into your brain on how crazy that is, that would have been 1,727 days ago. Yeah. If you don't think that's like, if you don't think that's not insane, something is wrong with you. That is 100% insane. And of course, in his first game back in Toronto, in 30 minutes, he put up 25, 6, and 6. Now, 9 and 22, not the greatest. It's 40% from the field, but, it's okay if Stephen Curry has those nights. He still put up 25, 6, and 6. I just found that really interesting. Like, if you think about it, after 2019, he started getting hurt. He missed all of the games. So it makes sense. It's just that that's been almost like 5 years, right? Like I I'm trying to comprehend that myself because that's almost 5 seasons if that's not already 5 seasons. To go from 2019 to 2024 and that being your first time, and I know we had some crazy ones like Kevin Durant and the return to the Bay Area, right? But it never dawned on me that Stephen Curry hasn't been in Toronto, Canada since 2019. It's so much history, so much was happening during that time for the NBA. It was really crazy. Man, I actually can't believe that. It's been almost 5 seasons. And I just want you guys to know that he has a 19-4 record against the Raptors in his career. Just keeping that relevant for you guys, and that's excluding the postseason, according to StatMuse. Yeah, because honestly, in Toronto, the last time in a regular season game they've been in Toronto was back in 2018, the start of the new year. But then from like 2020 to 24, you had one, two, three, four, five, six Stephen Curry appearances, but it was all at Golden State. It was all in California. Now, if you travel all those miles, you finally go over to Toronto. That's actually insane. It's been 5 seasons since a Toronto game was played for Stephen Curry, like featuring Stephen Curry. It never clicked in my brain. Something else that really never clicked in my brain was Tyrese Halliburton. And In yesterday's game, Pelicans-Pacers game, the Pacers game, right? That was the first time since November of 2021 where Tyrese Halliburton was held scoreless in a game. That's when he had a scoreless game. Do you know how astronomical that is? Do you know how impressive that is? Also, it's also very shocking. But give credit to, I believe, Herbert Jones. I didn't watch the game, but people were giving credit to Herbert Jones. I'm going to watch the replay after I'm done recording the podcast episode, just trying to see and try to analyze the best I can and just watch as a fan. But Herbert Jones Herbert is no joke. I swear. You wish the Pelicans could pay him because I know you can't pay them all, but you gotta look at Herb. You gotta look at him because the whole Tyrese scoreless, not even a single point. That's incredible. That's absolutely incredible. I have to pull up his stat line. The 24-year-old stat line. Yeah, he just went 0-7 from the field, 0-6 from deep, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 0 steals, 0 blocks. Oh, that was in 23 minutes. I kind of wish he didn't have any rebounds, any assists, and he could have like the perfect Tony Snell game. I believe it was Tony Snell that just dropped a massive goose egg. Hold on. Tony Snell, yeah, I'm pretty sure it was him, wasn't it? Because I know there was like 11 players to my knowledge who didn't have a single stat. Yeah, so back in 2017, it was Tony Snell, 224-17, Bucks versus Trailblazers, and he was playing for Milwaukee. In 28 minutes, he didn't have a single point, rebound, assist, steal, block, or even a turnover in 28 minutes. Yeah, I can't forget Avery Bradley. I actually remember that game because I remember against the Suns, same deal, just lesser minutes than Snell. I don't remember Andre Robertson. I don't. No, that was back in 2016. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I don't remember Andre Robertson. Can't speak today, but y'all know what I mean. And he didn't have a long career either. I know he played for the Thunder, and he had that 5-game stint. Then his career with the Nets. He's now 32. I wonder if he's doing anything. Doing anything else in his career? Still, he got the play over 300 games, average 22 minutes, and have 4.5 points per game and 4 rebounds per game. Like he was just like one of those what you call one of those swingmen, right? Uh, one of those wing players. Thank you, man. I'm really losing it today. Woo! It got real ugly towards the end of his career, but look, you got to play a lot of games. You definitely saw the first 4 seasons of his career with the Thunder be like his best ones, right? Well, kudos to him. I guess he last played for the Oklahoma City Blue of the G League. I don't remember that at all. I have a feeling I should be remembering that, but I'm sorry. I just don't. But no, anyways, back to Tyrese Halliburton. Not even one free throw? I'm just saying that's kind of impressive. I wasn't expecting all that per se. But hey, something always shocks me every day in this association. And that's just a fact. Hold on. I have to see. Not even did he miss a free throw? I know Indiana lost to New Orleans by what? 27? Yeah, it was 129 to 102. Yeah, it was 27. Tyrese. Um, I just want to see the player stats. Did he have one free throw? No, he didn't even get to the line once. He had a minus 40. He also had one turnover. So it wasn't exactly like Tony Snell or Avery Bradley, but it was close enough. But that's very rare for Tyrese Halliburton. To say how rare that is, going back of November of 2021. You guys can't make that up. And Tyrese, he was looking like point guard 2.0. He's just slowing down a bit now. No, no, no. Let me rephrase that. He's slowing down, but I'm not disrespecting him. Like he's just hit a bad patch of inconsistency, especially in the last 10 games. But trust me, he's still point guard 2.0. I really do believe he has like that Steve Nash, Jason Kidd, Chris Paul combo in him. As insane as that may sound, I really do see all tiny hints of those guys in him. But still, for Tyrese to go scoreless, that actually is insane. Man, but I think what's throwing me off is the fact that he couldn't get his passing game going either. So yeah, that kind of shocked me. That's just me though. Yeah, maybe that's just me. Now, lastly, something a little more positive for the fun facts, and then I'll get into the other news. Right, we got Grady Dick, who's a great rookie for the Toronto Raptors. And I have to get to the bad news for the Raptors, but hey, while we're here, why not talk about Grady Dick? So, he's 20 years old. If you guys have not been keeping up with him, in 39 games played, 16 minutes, 6 points, almost 2 rebounds, 1 assist, right? It's mediocre, but he's been showing flashes. He's been showing tiny spritzes of who he can be as a shooter, right? He go 8 of 13 from the field, 18 points, 7-9 from the field, 18 points, right? He had that game against Indiana. He had that game against Atlanta. So he's showing that. Or against the Spurs on the 12th of February, 7 to 10, 18 points. He's not going to be known as this flashy playmaker or uh tough rebounder. He's going to be one of those shooters, one of those isolated skills, isolated talent shooters, which is fine, especially for the Raptors. I'm not knocking on him. And Grady Dick has made history, as he has made a free in 12 straight games, which is the longest streak by a Toronto Raptors rookie since the 2007 season. Andre, I'm sorry, Andre Bargnani was the last rookie to do, and I know I botched that so bad. I don't even know how. I don't even know how to pronounce that. Don't even. How do you even say that? Hold on. You cannot just tell me. Hold on. Bargnani. Hold on.
Andrea Bargnani.
Bargnani. Oh wait, hold on.
Andrea Bargnani.
Andrea Bargnani. Okay. I was so off. My bad. My bad. Anyways, so shooter's got to shoot, and the young rook is cooking. So, you see, he's made it free in 12 straight games. And I didn't even know this was a thing, to be honest. I'm sorry, I don't remember you, Andrea. I don't. I gotta look you up. I feel like such a casual right now because now it's okay. To be honest, it's the Toronto Raptors, and it was probably some rain. I what like he put up really good numbers too. Like I'm sorry, I don't remember him. And he was a former first overall pick in the 2006 draft class. I'm sorry, I know he was putting up great numbers, especially like in 2010, 11. I know he's a certified shooter. I know he's a certified baller. I apologize. I I completely spaced out on him. What is my knowledge just being tested today? But no, so he's in some good company right now, especially with a former first overall pick, apparently. I didn't really land Toronto with anything, but hey, no hate, no hate. But bad news. So, the Raptors lost last night. They also lost down Scotty Barnes. So, he has suffered a fractured left hand. According to the team, according to multiple reports, he is out indefinitely. So now that just means while there's no timetable for him to come back, he's out. Which is definitely not something they wanted to see. That is the exact opposite. In fact, that is like the worst case scenario. And in fact, that is something you did not even want to see at all. Very, very unfortunate. Absolutely unfortunate. And Scotty Barnes, he's a walking bucket. He's the type of guy that you want on your team, and he's just been blossoming nicely. And you sometimes wouldn't expect it from a 22-year-old, but you can't tell me you wouldn't want the production of a 28-6 guy. But he's also doing it on the defensive end. I really do believe he could be one of the best wing players, one of the best two-way players in this league. Correct me if I'm wrong. But you got this guy who go out there and get you like 5 blocks, free assist. He's getting you almost triple doubles, double doubles. It's very rare for him not to get double doubles. It's kind of, and he's getting there to the point where he's getting triple doubles. And I've been very high on Scotty Barnes since he's entered the league. I've been very high on him. Very, very high. So for Scott over here to be out with a left fractured hand, that's just no bueno. Hold on, I'm no doctor, but what is the timeline for a left fractured hand? Ooh, they're relatively straightforward. You can expect a recovery time of approximately 3 weeks. That's from Manchester Hand Surgeons. Northern Arizona orthopedics say that the hand and wrist fractures often heal in 4 to 6 weeks. Interesting. 3 to 6 weeks by another site, Cleveland Clinic. Chiropractor Jones Borough. Okay. Between 3 to 6 weeks. Okay. So he's going to need like a month or two. Yeah, so if Toronto makes it to the postseason, he may just be making it right the postseason. If my hypothetical timeline is matching up, because I really do. Could they make the postseason? Yeah, they're only like 4.5 games out. They're really gonna have to make a push. You can't be going 500s in your last 10. It's tough, but you could make the push. The real killer now is losing Scotty Barnes because now you're gonna have to see guys like Gary Trent, Jakob Poeltl, RJ, Emmanuel Quickly, Dick, Bruce Brown. You're gonna have to see a lot of these guys step up. Also, can I just say it's been very unfortunate. I don't know if you guys remember the name Marquise Noel. I wrote an article on him. He's like a 5'7" point guard, the ultimate underdog. I compared him to Isaiah Thomas. Um, The Boston Celtics one, not the Detroit Pistons one. I love this story so much. I feel so bad he's only been able to play a game. One game, 4 minutes, 2 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal. Like, he has potential, and I know he went undrafted. I remember I covered that draft. I wanted him to be I want him to be in the league so bad and playing. I know he's in the league, but he's not playing. So are you really in the league? Let's be honest. I know he has the size disadvantage. I think there was something injury wise. I don't watch a lot of college, but this name certainly stuck out like a sore thumb to me. Why, I don't know. But it did. So it caught my attention. And I tried. 'Cause yeah, 11 months ago, this was a featured article. I asked, what's the deal with Marquise Noel? Yeah, real quick. Yeah, sure. He's small, but he had a legendary run in NCAA tournament. We saw his playmaking and shooting abilities at an elite level. Listen, 17 points, 14 assists, 3 steals, 27-9 free, 20-19-5, 30-12-5. But and I want to remind you guys 'cause I watched this game. And yeah, I'm not a big college guy. I'm not even a big Kansas State guy. But Noel had a 30 point, 12 assist, free rebound, 5 steal performance in 40 minutes in his final game for K State. But what made him more impressive was the fact that he showed out. He balled out on a hurt ankle. I'm just saying. And I know college does not always translate into the pros, into the National Basketball Association. But this man, during March Madness, was absolutely insane. The Michigan State K State game that went OT was absolutely insane. Now, it sure doesn't help that he was 23 at the draft. GMs, teams like younger players now, but I don't care. Like, if you're a good player, I don't care about the age. Well, unless you're like 24, 25 as a rookie, then depends, given his cons. But the dude's like 5'7", 5'8". And I want to support my short kings. Trust me, I'm short. But all I'm saying is that it would have been cool. It would have. And maybe his skills aren't translating. But I really do want. Yeah, hold up. I have to acknowledge this. Because on March 24th, 2023, if I could get this to pull up. Yeah, I was talking about him. Yeah, 'cause I said, while I'm not covering March Madness, I am covering the NBA draft and future prospects. With that being said, Marquise Noel is such a good basketball player. He may not be the tallest player, 5'8", but he is a brilliant playmaker. The point guard knows how to score for himself and his teammates evolve. I also love the energy and heart he got for the game and for his team. Truly incredible. Now, I got into the cons. Sadly, his agent's size will make it hard for him to get good opportunities in the upcoming draft. However, I don't look at his age as a weakness. Look at Cam Johnson, for example. He was 23 when people criticized Suns for drafting him. Now look at where he's at in his career, and I believe this player is better than Johnson. Um, I'm not going to read it all, but when I was talking about size, I said size does matter in the NBA, but if you look at examples throughout history, we had Muggsy Bogues, um, Isaiah Thomas. You had all these guys. We also had Chris Paul. And Chris Paul, he's a point guard that is only 2 inches on the well. And in the grand scheme of things, that doesn't really matter. And And those are more like obstacles, really aren't weaknesses. I know. I was reading that. I really and I was taking him as a steal of the draft, and I knew he was gonna be like a late second round pick or mid second round pick, but I liked him. I don't know if anyone else liked him, but I liked him. So there's some random facts about me and my scouting. Yeah, I like doing that. I should watch college. I'm just there for March Madness. I couldn't give a crap about college. College is not even fun anymore, to be honest, but I'm not going to get into all of that. But anyways, Scotty Barnes. He's out indefinitely with a fractured left hand. Not funny enough, but coincidentally enough, Russell Westbrook suffered the same exact injury. His timeline's unknown. He also suffered a fractured left hand. That was in the Clippers game, and I believe they were playing the Washington Wizards. The Wizards are now 9-51. They're a joke. I can't believe that. Well, I can, I can't. It wasn't Kyle Kuzma saying that he doesn't want to be that team, like when he was mocking and trolling the Detroit Pistons. Yeah, now they're getting obliterated by like the San Antonio Spurs or whatever. But no, so the Clippers got past them pretty easily. It just came at a price where you saw Russ go down and Russ only played 10 minutes. That's not good. And we saw, I'm sorry, not Shaw, but we saw Nate Highlander, Bones Highlander, come in for 16 minutes. I believe shortly after Russ went down, he had 2.7 assists, whatever. Cool playmaking, right? Some defense, right? But tough break for the for Los Angeles because the 35-year-old point guard, he get it done now. Sure, he's been inconsistent this year, but still, he tries his best to play, right? Now he really can't shoot the ball. It's not as ugly as it was with his tenure with the Lakers, but still, it's ugly. So check out the 3-point shooting. Anyways, still a good defense player. That's a really bad injury to sustain. I don't know how long he's gonna be out. I don't know if it's like exactly the same as Scotty, but look, Russ is gonna be missing some time. Same with Scotty. Another guy that will be missing some time is Jamal Murray. He has suffered a right ankle sprain. Again, timeline is unknown. But this is such a killer for Murray and for the Nuggets. My man just can't stay healthy. And I root for the underdogs. Like, I didn't rule him out like when he suffered a nasty injury against the Golden State Warriors with 50 some odd seconds left in the game. The bro is a he's a bona fide good player. Like, he's a solid combo guard. There's nothing wrong with that. And he's only 27. It kind of amazes me that he's never made an all-star team. It really does amaze me. But I really do feel bad. Hamstrings, ankles, knees, anything lower body, he's like experienced. Hold on, has he like suffered like foot injuries? One I hate looking this up because I hate injuries. I really do. Yeah, just the amount of knees, ankles, foot, quad, ankle, knee, shoulder, elbow, calf, hamstring, ankle, sore back, torso, knees, hamstrings, tibia, shins. Oh, yeah, because wasn't he also dealing with split shins or something? I actually can't remember. Split shins, Jamal Murray. I have to look that up, but I thought I was there. Yeah, 7 days ago. Um, the Athletics said that they were managing Jamal Murray's shin splints. Okay, I knew I was not going insane. I just wanted to point it out for the record. Right, just keeping us all on the same page, you know? So that was that's very unfortunate. I really do hate injuries, and I try not to talk much about injuries, but you know, it's part of the game. I have to because I never want to speculate too much on it or make it too light, especially for a guy like Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray's such a good dude, such a good basketball player. Like it really stinks that we have to have it for this guy in particular because he's just gone through a lot. His body has taken so much wear and tear. It is actually insane. Now, shifting gears, shifting gears. Um, Andrew Wiggins, he's gonna be having back-to-back seasons, back-to-back seasons of family drama, of some family issues, right? Definitely not ideal. Definitely not ideal at all. I honestly don't know what's going on, but I know like last season, he had to take some time off. I forgot the I don't know if the reason ever came out, I forgot, but anyways. I think we missed like 25 games? I think it was something like that. But this is back to back seasons of him dealing with a family matter, big or small. And this one, according to Shams Sharani of The Athletic, he said this was serious. And that the Warriors were giving him space and giving him the time needed. Yeah, he missed a total of 25 games due to family issues and whatnot. Steve Kerr said he would hope they return to the lineup this season, but nobody knows for sure on how many games he'll miss due to this matter. I don't know what this could be. Maybe I don't know if he's still dating that one lady. Can't remember, but maybe there's something going on with his girlfriend, his family, himself. I don't know. There's so many different variables and possibilities. It's just really too hard to try to narrow down. You know what I mean? So that's where we're kind of at with him. Um, so there's really not much to talk about when it comes to Andrew Wiggins. It just is what it is. Like it's very unfortunate, but I'm hoping that some of the young rookies are able to blend in. Some of the young guys are able to blend in. You know, able to make more of a name for themselves. I hope that makes sense. I have no idea if that made sense or not, but to me, that made sense. So you know what? We're just gonna roll with it and hope for the best that it does make sense. Right? Yeah. So we're just gonna do that. So very very unfortunate. I know I sound like a broken record, keep saying that, but you know what someone's gotta say. But on some brighter news, before we get to the Klay Thompson news and of course topic of day, Joel Embiid. I know the 76ers were hoping that he was gonna be able to return. Well, guess what? It's looking like he's gonna be able to return very, very, very soon. It looks like that Joel Embiid hopes to return to the end of the season. And it's mid-April when the season ends. So you do have some time. You got another month on you, which is great. That is exactly what you need. It 100% is. So, for all intents and purposes, that's exactly what you want to hear. And I'm hoping Joel Embiid can make a return. And I think he was going to win MVP again if he was healthy. If the stretch big was healthy. It's just been tough. He's in the prime of his career right now. He's not been able to stay healthy at any point in his career. The most games he's ever been able to play was 68 back in 21-22, which is insane to think about, but that's where we're at. But no, I really do believe he's able to return. But it's not about chasing awards or statistics. You're just trying to get him healthy for the postseason. You're trying to get your entire team healthy for the postseason. So it's going to be interesting how that all unfolds. Just my opinion, without going too in depth on that. Then lastly, pardon me, for breaking news around the league. It should all be noted, it should really be documented that Klay Thompson is eligible for a 4-year contract worth up to $223 million. But just because both sides are aligning financially and even with the years, and because the money isn't all worth it, or kind of what's going on with his playing and where Kirk could be sticking him at, minutes wise and bench wise, and all that fun stuff. He's now rolling out the possibility, but he's actually open to re-signing with Golden State on a shorter deal. And hypothetically, he could sign a 2-year deal to expire at the same time as Steve Kerr and Stephen Curry, which could be the end for Stephen Curry because I know he doesn't want to retire anytime soon. I know he's going to honor his contract, but that'll put him at what? 37? 38? Probably 38 because his birthday's in 12 days. Steve Kerr, how's Steve Kerr? I know he's up there. Like, isn't he like he'll be 60 when his contract's all said and done. Isn't that, isn't that crap? I think, well, I know we shouldn't. I know we shouldn't have to worry about this right now, but just imagine if, hmm, man, imagine if the Warriors just end right then and there. 2 years, 2026. It's over. The Splash Bros are gone. Steve Kerr's gone. Just retiring and stuff. Could you imagine that? The best pro on that team would be Jonathan Kuminga and Draymond Green. Wouldn't that not be interesting? Could you imagine if that happened? He sacrificed the money and years to have that big bang, to go have a big bang with Kerr and Curry. Could you imagine that? Man, that would be like the end of an era on so many different levels for duos and partnerships and player and coaches. Man, so much history is tied just within those three players alone. How old is, hold on, how old's Clay again? My apologies. He's 34. So he'll be like 36 when it's all said and done. Yeah, 36, 37. Man, could you imagine if it all ended in 2 years? I couldn't imagine that. I don't wanna imagine that. The Warriors have had such a great dynasty, such a great storied run, that I don't think I would want to end like that. I at least want them to win one more championship. I think that would be really cool. Like, I wouldn't be against that at all. Like, in fact, I would be rooting for that. Unless the Phoenix Suns were making a crazy run, then yeah, the Warriors can just go die. I'm all about the Suns at that point. Man, absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. Man, like, when you really do think about that, and I know I'm over here just remembering on some moments right now. Absolutely insane. Anyways, that's where Klay Thompson could be. So there's many different directions that Mike Dunleavy Jr., the higher ups, all these guys can take it in. Me personally, I love to see Klay stay loyal. Both sides be loyal, stay together. I think it'd be pretty cool. I really couldn't imagine Klay on a different team, right? Man, just absolutely insane. And absolutely insane. So, that was breaking news around the league. Now let's get to topic of the day. This one's tough. Who's the next face of the NBA? Who is it? Who is the next face of the NBA? Who can it be? Who can be the next face of the NBA? Because right now it is LeBron James, and undoubtedly so. You can make the argument for either LeBron James or Stephen Curry, or Curry was co opting that title with LeBron James. You could definitely put that in the mix. But the NBA is coming up on a massive problem. They have a massive problem on their hands. And the problem is this, the problem is very simplistic. You had guys before them, like in the 80s, you had Magic and Bird. You had those firepower teams of the Celtics and Lakers. And then it was bleeding into the Rockets with Clyde Drexler, with Hakeem, like with all these different players, right? And then it evolved into Michael Jordan's league. And then you had those prized um Chicago Bulls teams. Those those bad boy Pistons. You had those teams. And then you had the what if team if they had that next piece of the Utah Jazz. What if they had a third good, better player for Stockton and Malone? Right? So you had those teams. But you always had star studded players. Because then it bled into Kobe and Shaq. Right? You had KG, you had Duncan, you had Robinson, you had those great Spurs teams. You got to see Timmy D and Robinson together. You got to see, if we're gonna go with Spurs, you had to see Kawhi. You had to see Duncan, Manu. You got to see a lot of his Parker. Like you got to see a lot of these players, right? And why am I bringing all this up? Why am I bringing all this up? I'll bring this all up to say that it went from Magic and Bird, the Michael, the Kobe and Shaq, and Kobe took over when he went to number 24, right? They had the great battles with the Celtics and between the Lakers and Celtics. And then you had LeBron in the mix. And the NBA has tried to keep the LeBron well flowing, never drying up, never shriveling, always keeping it healthy for the longest time. And they've run this for quite some time, right? Which is great to see. Which I'm not saying is bad, but what do you do after LeBron retires? What happens when Curry retires? Because a whole generation was shaped on the notion of the power of LeBron James and the underdog mentality and how Stephen Curry has shaped the minds of the younger generation, of the younger basketball players, right? Like back then, taken a couple years ago, Kawhi with the Spurs, Kawhi with the Raptors, Kevin Durant, OKC, that OKC team that should have been made one finals appearance, but then it got killed. You had those solid teams, like you had the Golden Era Warriors, right? You had some decent Rocket teams. Like you had some decent teams, you had some good moments. But I think that's something that's just now lacking is personality. Something that really worked in the 90s, early and mid and late 2000s was personality. Kobe. You knew who Kobe was. Like Kobe was different. That's why he was the Black Mamba. That's why he had the Mamba mentality. Mike was the same way. Mike was a killer. Mike was ready to eat your heart out if that meant him winning a championship and winning games. Allen Iverson had a personality. There was people that gravitated towards him. He was electrifying on the court. How he spoke, how he kind of shaped the way that it was going. Right? I think people now just go with the motion, but if you want to talk about personality, if you really want to talk about personality, let's talk about the Fab Five. Who remembers the Fab Five? You remember? You remember the Fab Five? You remember Ray Jackson, Jalen Rose, Chris Webber, Jimmy King, Juwan Howard? You remember Chris Webber, Juwan Howard in the NBA? Like you knew those guys? Like you knew their controversial antics. You knew what they were doing. They were trying to get the media's attention. They were trying to become trendsetters. You knew that they were really trying to take over Michigan, University of Michigan. Remember that in the early 90s? You remember that? Oh, I do. I really do. But and even though they never won an NCAA championship, they were an iconic team. You don't forget them. You always remember them. Like you have to understand, one of the biggest things that makes the face of the NBA is personality, talent, skill, obviously. Obviously, you need to have those two things, but personality is so big. Being that guy that can't be denied, that's always being picked by the media, that has this sort of feeling with the fans, whether it's negative or positive in any way, that's important. You gotta establish relationships. Honestly. Something that's also that needs to connect with the fans. Like, I think something because you see all these great basketball players like Joel Embiid and Nikola Jokic. Nobody cares about them. Like you do. Like respected fan bases, fans around the NBA cares about them. I'm talking about the casual fan that sometimes that watches the NBA but is not trying to blood suck their way through all this. You know what I mean? And you're gonna look at a guy on Nikola Jokic, you're like, wow, he's really good. but that's it. Like, what makes him unique? Like, why should I be interested in him? And there's always been there's always been um this struggle, if you will, of, well, are international players the best face of the NBA? Honestly. And you're like, what do you mean? International players are great. What do you mean? I'm sorry, Dirk Nowitzki was great. I love Dirk. But no one really talks about Dirk, like the casual fan. Unless you're a Dallas fan or somebody that was really studying, especially when they won that championship. Like when when they won that in 2011, that was special. But how many people talk about Dirk? They talk about Mark Cuban more than Dirk Nowitzki. Why? Because Mark Cuban represented their fan base. Mark Cuban was a personality. Mark Cuban made you invested. Dirk Nowitzki made you invested if you watched him. But off the court, he really didn't. Even on the court, in interviews, he really didn't. You just never gravitated towards him. Same goes for Nikola Jokic. Same goes for Joel Embiid. Honestly, it's hard because you're like, do I really have that spark with that player? Do I really give a crap about that player? And a lot of the times the answer is no. Honestly, when was the last time there was there was an international face of the league? Honestly, I'm trying to remember. And I know there's a lot of international players. And internationally they're great. But who even said like they were trying to make Giannis Antetokounmpo, who is freakishly athletic and gifted and talented and so skilled. He's incredible. But nobody outside of Milwaukee and a select number of fans in the NBA actually care about Giannis. He's not compelling. You can't relate to him. International guys just have never been appealing. Nobody in the United States really cares about international guys as much. Because international guys who are really good at basketball really don't want to be in the spotlight, or they just don't gravitate to those certain audiences. And those certain audiences are the ones that are tuning in and watching. And if there's not that connection, not that spark, not that feel, not that intriguing curiosity of wanting to know more, and if there's not a player that is either creating controversy or being a trendsetter, setter, or anything, or being a defying outlier for the league, for a team where it's like, oh, I really love this person. Oh, I really hate this person. This person wins championships. This person gets close. This whatever, right? What is it? Jokic is one of the greatest international players. He's a two-time MVP, five-time All-Star. I'm sorry, All NBA player, right? Multi-time All-Star. But and he has one of the greatest underdog stories ever. He was picked number 41. He's easily the greatest second rounder ever. But nobody cares about his story. Same goes with Giannis. He was a scrawny nobody who got picked over. I think it was like the 14th overall pick. I'm sorry, 15th overall pick in the 2013 NBA draft. Scrawny guy. Like, he was from a little known secondary league in Greece. Nobody cared. But now look at him. Same goes for Joel Embiid, Pascal Siakam. right? I just it just does not get there. It just does not get there. Which is crazy if you see all their skill and talent. But if you just don't resonate with the fans, it's just never gonna get to that level of excitement and passion and wanting to turn on the TV. Like, I don't know how to really explain this to you guys. Like, I hope this what I'm saying is making sense. I'm gonna get to my list in a second, but who's gonna be the face? LeBron, Curry, those guys made sense because they're recognizable. They were trendsetters. They did things that the media picked up on, that the fans worshipped, glorified, uh, ridiculed, despised, right? But they were there. They were branded a certain way. They were marketed a certain way, and it was easier. With these international guys, it's just like they're really good at basketball, but outside of their market and a handful of guys, they're not really pleasing the casual everyday fan. Like people didn't have to be a diehard fan or a semi diehard fan to know who Kobe was, or Michael, or Braun, or Curry, or Kawhi, or Harden, or a lot of these guys that have some that are etched into history. It's just a fact. That's why I struggle with, oh, the league has finally found their next face. They finally found their next face in the NBA in Victor Wembanyama. No, they haven't. I love Wemby. I do. I have much respect for him. Nobody knows how hard it is for him to be at that size, to be that flexible, that strong, and do what he does on the court. I know they're trying to make him this savior for San Antonio in the face of the league. But something else that hurts is not being in college. Honestly. I know you got the exceptions of Kobe and LeBron. LeBron was different. LeBron was different, especially in high school, and how ESPN covered him. But you didn't know who Wemby was until the media started talking about them. Nobody in the United States really knew who Wemby was, outside of highlights and then his runs with Screw Henderson in the G League. Then occasional conversations. That's why there's a lot of people who aren't sold on Wemby. It's just because there was never that connection. And that when I say personality, a lot of that also develops in college. Like when you have that mentality, when you have that personality, when you have that ability to be in college and be that guy, and that guy is now being talked about in NBA circles, in NBA media, and higher up college media, and now he's like a high prospect. It, honestly, this next draft class is going to be so bad. Nobody cares about what's the guy, Ron Holland? I don't even know if anybody cares about Cooper Flag. Like when you see his draft classes coming back, I don't know. We're talking about Bronny James more. Why? Because he's the son of LeBron James. Bronny James is a loser. He's a nobody. He's an absolute nobody. He's a G Leaguer at best. But because his daddy was LeBron James, he's gonna be able to play in the NBA. That's it. But you understand where I'm coming from. It's hard when you have these guys playing international basketball, then opting into the draft, and you're like, where's the story? How can I connect? I don't I just don't feel the same way I do with other guys. And when you have other guys and other stories and other branding abilities and how you can market them, And it also helps that they're able to speak clear English and they're able to have this I don't like, they have, like, this charisma behind them. Curry has charisma, Michael had charisma, Kobe had charisma, AI had charisma, Braun had charisma, Shaq had charisma. Like, these guys all had outlining traits of charisma and personality traits and their abilities. Like, they knew what to say. Their interviews were much watched. What they said was much listened to. And I'm not taking away from these guys that are international or guys that are lesser known. I'm just saying it's harder. If there's not a story, if there's not something that has years on, or at least a year or two, that's why it's also really hard. And this is for international or national, for both. When people only playing a year in college, playing a handful of games, they're opting right for the draft or going right to the G League instead of college, there's no story to be told. There's no story that needs to be learned about. You're just you're not really being known. Sure, you're able to shoot the ball, cool, but there's no backstory. There's no likability behind these guys. There's no brandability behind these guys. You could talk how great they are as a prospect, but if no one's gravitating towards them, it's like okay, it's whatever. And the NBA has to really think about their bigger market here, outside of like the hardcore guys or the guys that are passionate enough to care about these guys. But the one thing I really do applaud about the NBA is how fast and how rapid they were able to expand their international market. Just Salad being the face of the NBA can't be international and forget about the national. It does not work. It can't work. Right? So I don't think Wemby could work. I don't think there's a story behind him. There's just not that likability behind him or relatability, right? It's absolutely insane when you're thinking about it in all these different ways and all these different capacities. But it's true. You gotta look at it in that lens, in that perspective. Zion Williamson was a bust, and ESPN tried pushing him and pushing him and pushing him and pushing him to be the next face of the league, and it just never panned out for several reasons. Luka Doncic is also another guy. He's fine. He's a talented basketball player, but fans outside of Denver just aren't really clicking with him. Like the generalized NBA fans really not clicking with him. Shea Alexander maybe, but people at OKC love him. I love him. I love Shea. I love to see more SGA. But it does not mean and maybe if Trey Young had some more spotlight put on him, like I believe if he was out of Atlanta. Cause Trey Young carries that personality, especially in that series against New York. Like that was bad ball. We thought we had the new villain. People were there. Like, it was exciting. He had something there. It was cold. It was chilling. It was edgy. It was bold. It was controversial. We haven't seen it. He was an outlier. We really don't see that with Shea. Maybe with Anthony Edwards, we could say. I think Jason Tatum could be one. If you want to talk about a guy who could be the face of the NBA, it could be Jason Tatum. Like I'm not rolling out Jason Tatum. Like if you want to pass the torch, I really do believe it could be Jason Tatum. And I don't even think it's close. I really do believe the Boston Celtics forward could be the next face of the NBA. I honestly do believe that. This guy's always been in the postseason. His expectations have always risen high. He's already been in the postseason. He's made deep runs, the conference championships. He's made a finals appearance, one against the Warriors team at 22. He's always been in the spotlight. He's always had those matchups. And there's likability. He also has a personality. He also has a family life. He's also a father. That connects as well. You can market it. And the Celtics are just steamrolling. And and JT had a college personality. If I'm not mistaken, didn't he go to what college was it? Wasn't it Duke? Like when he was at Duke and when he was an All American in high school, like there was something behind that. Like there was a buzz, and there was a buzz when back in 2018 when he was going toe to toe with a Cleveland LeBron, and he almost eliminated him. Like there was times where it looked like he was gonna get the upper hand of the Cavaliers. Fast forward to now, and this guy stays healthy. The least amount of games he has played in a season is 64, and that's back in 2021. I'm telling you, he's the face. He's got a story, he's got credibility, he's got passion, he's got heart, he's got that edge to him, he's got that swagger to him. He'll say what's on his mind, he'll just do it. He's got the game, and he's only 25. So let's say LeBron plays for 2 to 3 more years. Great. He'll be 27, 28. But if you already want to start to pass the torch, if he now makes it to the conference championships or even to the finals, that'll just speed up the process even more. I'm telling you, Jason Tatum could be the face of the NBA easily, and he'll be in the sweet spot of his career. He'll be in the prime of his career. I don't like the fact that we're talking about Luka Doncic more than Jason Tatum, and Luka Doncic has done nothing for the Mavericks. He's a ball hog. That's all he is. He's an international ball hog that cries like a little baby. That's all Doncic is. And Tatum is the exact opposite. That's why people gravitate towards him. That's why people love him. That's why people want to see him and the Celtics succeed. Plus, there's that rich history that Boston has from the days of Bird, from the super team of the Celtics, to the underdog story of Isaiah Thomas, to Jason Tatum, to the rough history with Kyrie Irving. But Jason Tatum has accomplished much more than Luka Doncic, and I know people want Doncic to be this guy, and I know the media keeps trying to push Luka Doncic, but Luka Doncic is not that guy. They're both 25, but yet Jason Tatum has been in the postseason since the beginning of his career. He's a lot healthier. He actually holds a crowd. People want to watch him play, not Luka Doncic. People hate Luka Doncic. He's the villain. Jason Tatum can play both roles. Doncic can't. That's why I do believe in the end, who will be the face of the NBA? Jason Tatum. He's been in this league since 2017-18. He's been doing this song and dance for 7 seasons. 7 seasons. Absolutely insane. It's crazy if you think about it. They were promoting Luka Doncic over Jason Tatum. Why, I don't know. But Jason Tatum is really, really, really exploding onto the scene. He has been for the longest time. But the media needs to keep talking about him. The NBA should be pushing this guy. He is the guy, not some international dude, not some lower tier national dude. Jason Tatum is the guy. Boston has the exposure. He's putting them on the map. It was him versus Curry. It was him versus LeBron. There's angles and stories you can take this. This is where you try to capitalize upon it. I'm telling you, you seize the opportunity. And he's only getting better. So who's the next face in the NBA? It's Jason Tatum. And if it's not Tatum, then it's Anthony Edwards. But I'm telling you, it's Jason Tatum. Telling you, it's Jason Tatum. It's not Wemby. It's not Doncic. It's not Zion. It's not Ant-Man. It's not Luka. It's not Shea. It's Jason Tatum. He has the college history. He has the high school history. He has the pros history. And he just gravitates into a love-hate relationship, a full love relationship, a full hate relationship, whatever it is. He just does it. And it's very intriguing to watch. He's a compelling basketball player. He has a great uh personal life story, right? And even the NBA just gives his son, I think his name is Deuce Tatum, something like that, screen time. Like this is he's the perfect guy to capitalize on. And he's 2 to 3 years away from replacing the guys like Kevin Durant, Stephen Curry, LeBron James, all those guys. And now you can usher in the newer generation, the younger talents, the guys in his prime, like Jason Tatum. Who's the next face of the NBA? It's Jason Tatum. If it's not Tatum, it's Ant-Man. But I'm taking Jason Tatum. I think it is gonna be him. He's just that compelling on and off the court. He's a role model for children. He's a great example for the generations to come as a basketball player, as a person. You could gravitate him. He's compelling to listen to. His game is really fascinating to watch. And he's always been in the spotlight and he's always growing. He's just that guy. Everything I read off in the beginning, he ticks those boxes. If you guys believe I'm wrong, please let me know. I love to know. But the NBA desperately needs that next guy. And it has to be a guy like Jason Tatum. It has to be Tatum. I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast episode. I had a lot of fun doing this. I hope you guys are still enjoying this. I really, really do believe that bigger, better things are happening for the podcast, and bigger, better things are happening for the NBA as a whole. I hope you guys do enjoy this. Thank you again for sticking around. And until Monday, I will see y'all later. Peace.